Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap After Hours. I figured that would be kind of a good name for it since it's not when I'm doing my regular Veterans Info Tap stuff, and I figured, it gives me the ability to kind of just share different thoughts or different things, just kind of things outside the norm. So, welcome to this channel. And, I was just thinking, I just got done having dinner, and I was thinking, what about sharpening up on the basics, right? The basics when it comes to filing your claim, whether your claim is for an increase or your claim is for secondaries, or it's just your first claim ever, maybe. What does it look like? What do you need to do to ensure that you're getting approved? The problem for many people is they throw it against the wall and they hope it sticks. That is not a good strategy. So I just wanted to kind of lay it out for you and give a little bit of information along the way on kind of maybe some different things to think about. I'm going to preface this with, look, there's two things. There's really two things that you want to accomplish when you file your claim with the VA. One is get service connected. Two is get the appropriate rating. So how do you do it? Well, all the information is out there, and it's just a matter of taking the time to figure it out. Number one, the first thing that you must do, and actually there's no must, you don't have to do it, but the first thing that you should do is you should file an intent to file. An intent to file takes the pressure off, and it allows you to be able to focus on the things you need to focus on, so you can ensure that not only your claim gets approved as service connected, or your increase gets approved, or your secondary gets approved, but it also allows you to, I guess it gives you that breathing room, right? Having that intent to file in, and it preserves that effective date so you have a year to figure it out. So that's the first thing you want to do. In the meantime, hey, look, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it on this other channel, right? Veterans Info Tap After Hours. So when we look to file the claim, you need to build up evidence. What do you need? It's been a while since I talked about this, so I thought I'd share it here. What do you need to do in order to have a claim? What are the aspects you need to focus on? Well, number one is you must have your time in service. How do you prove that? You prove that with your DD-214. The number two thing is you must have a diagnosed conditions. A lot of veterans mess that one up, and it could be for whatever reason, right? It could be we think, well, I'm filing a claim with the VA that has a whole medical team that should help me with the diagnosis. Well, they're not going to help you. So you need to go get diagnosed yourself. Get your diagnosis squared away. The VA needs to see that you actually have a condition. So get your medical information all squared away. Get your diagnosis if you don't already have one. And your condition that you're filing the claim for must be chronic in nature or have some sort of residual effects. It cannot be, I had a cold once and it went away and I'm fine. It has to be something that has some sort of lingering aspects to it. The third thing is another thing that I would argue that this could potentially be the worst thing for veterans with regard to getting denied service connection. That is the Nexus. Now, a lot of people hear the word Nexus and they jump right to Nexus letter, because oftentimes you hear those two words conjoined, Nexus letter. So the Nexus letter helps you to establish your Nexus. What the Nexus is the Nexus is the VA's, wanting of you to prove the connection between your condition and your time in service. So what they're not looking for is, show me that your condition manifested during service, although that can be the case, but it's more broad than that, and this is an important distinction. What they're looking for is, look, show us that your condition manifested during your time in service or as a result of your time in service in some way. Again, that's a big distinction, right? Show me that your condition manifested during your time in service or as a result of your service in some way. That opens it up widely, because now you're just trying to prove that your condition began in your time in service, whether it was service related in the sense of a Humvee rolled over my leg and now my leg's messed up, or I started to get migraine headaches while I was in service. That was when I first started to get migraines. So this is a really important aspect, because there's plenty of conditions out there that maybe you never thought were able to get service connected, and really they are if they manifested during your time in service. So that's really, really important. So those are the 3 things that you need. And a good fast recap, right? Time in service creates that window of opportunity, entry date, exit date. Diagnosed condition, chronic in nature or has some sort of residual effects. The third thing is your nexus, the link between the condition and your time in service. It's not necessarily prove that the military caused the problem, but rather prove that your problem started during the time in the military or is a result of your time in the military. So now you're able to pull all of that together. That's great. How do you prove your nexus? There's a lot of questions, right, that people have. How do I prove that? Ideally, and this is probably the smallest percentage of people anyway, but ideally, you got diagnosed while you're in service. Having the diagnosis with a date on it that is during your time in service is automatically creating a nexus. This is huge, although not likely unless it's an injury. So the next step would be maybe you self-diagnosed yourself, whatever, you get it. Maybe you self-attested somewhere or mentioned signs or symptoms on some sort of a physical health assessment or something like that, where you might have it in your medical records. This is why it's very important to order your service treatment records. You can do that with an SF-180 form, SF-180, order your records, skim through them, read through them, see if you have any mentions of things. Another very important aspect. Now, let's say that you did not document anything in service. This is probably most likely. Most people, they didn't do it for fear of reprimand or whatever the case is. So you need to, what I call now, go back and manufacture evidence. You're going to have to get what they call buddy statements. Try to find people that maybe you served with that could attest to knowing that you got injured or knowing that you had some sort of an illness or disease. Maybe you had GERD. Maybe you had some sort of migraines or something like that, and they could write you a letter attesting to their knowledge of knowing that you actually had and suffered from that condition. Maybe reach out to family members that knew you before and during your time in service, obviously, and after, and then they could maybe write letters for you as well. You would write your own letter, self-attesting to that as well, and we can go from there. The statement from you is important because you want to paint the picture. You want to paint the picture of why you never got diagnosed when you were in service. Usually that's pretty easy. I saw the medic, I self-treated, I didn't realize that I had the problem, fear of reprimand for going to the battalion aid station or medical or anything like that. So those are also important aspects that you want to include in the letter. In the event that you need to push to the Board of Appeals, you want everything to tie up and make sense. Now, that's going to get you service connected, but what about getting service connected at the right rating? This is important, and many people miss this. You need to pull up the schedule of ratings for your specific condition. Find your condition in the VA's rating schedules, and you will see what sort of percentages can be assigned for that specific condition. If it's tinnitus, look, you get one rating that's 10%. If you have migraine headaches, it could be a 10, a 30, or a 50. So you need to read what the criteria is for each percentage that could be allocated. You need to read them and understand, well, I meet all of the criteria for this specific rating. Now what you're going to do is you're going to work with your doctor, ideally. This is the best case situation. I would work with your doctor, have your doctor write you a letter stating that you're their patient, they've seen you for X, whatever the condition is, and you have all the signs and symptoms of that condition to include and then put in the information from the rating schedule verbatim. Put the same stuff in there. If you suffer from it in that way, write it in there. Make it easy for the VA rater to go, oh, this is the rating. Having that from your doctor, signed by your doctor, is vital. In addition, you can also have them complete a public-facing DBQ. That's a disability questionnaire. Disability questionnaires are great if they're filled out appropriately. If they're not, they're just a blank form that has garbage on it. So make sure that when you print out a DBQ or email a DBQ, disability questionnaire, that you have the doctor put in the information from the rating schedule. This is very important. This is what's going to help you make sure that you get the appropriate rating for your condition. With that, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. Have a great one, and remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong. Thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap After Hours. Have a great one.